Hello.
Hello.
Hello, everybody.
Greetings. Still admitting, still admitting. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good day, good morrow, good people.
Good morning.
Morning.
I'm not, I was having obviously some trouble getting Zoom to open this morning.
How's your moving going, Ruben?
Well, as you can see in my background, I am in new house now. In these 2 days of moving on, we have the highest temperatures in the year, about 44 centigrades in the last 2 days. Very, very hot, but now we are okay here. The old place maintains at the Terasem Ashrams exclusively.
So yeah, no, so then what does this mean for the garden?
Well, we have a new garden here that is have more plants indeed. But in the other place, we maintain also the garden. This is not the time for sunflowers now, but we replay it every year when it's time to eat.
Good, wonderful. Well, look forward to it. Look forward to it. Absolutely. Yeah. And welcome, Sam. We haven't seen you in a while. And Mike too. Yeah, good to see you both.
Yeah, sorry, I missed the last meeting with the pressure of work and I just spaced it out. Sorry. Try to keep from doing it.
Absolutely. No problem. We're always here. Always good to see everybody. Ivan, Derek, Ruben as well. So it's great, but absolutely, I was, certainly just thinking about you recently, Mike, and I was, wondering, and so, yeah, it's great to see you back, as well.
Right.
Yeah. And
Great
yeah,
to be
likewise.
back.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, yeah, let's go around. Would love to hear, Mike, what's going on at Alcor, and any updates from you, Sam, as well, and everybody else, anything that you have to share or offer.
Okay, well, I'm sitting in my office again. The last time I was at the meeting, I was in San Diego, but I'm back in Scottsdale. And what can I say about Alcor? They're business as usual. We've recently gotten our CEO structure finalized or something. So we've got two CEOs, a joint CEO arrangement. And one is Margie Klima, who is already the acting CEO. And the other is a gentleman named James Arrowwood, who's one of our attorneys, but he decided to join Alcor, become a member, and he's helping us too on that kind of things. So that's the way it's going now.
That's awesome. Yeah. As long as there's just a clear delineation, who's in charge of what, and they're fine with that, and they're good at that aspect of it, then it's for the best, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think that, you know, these are probably all great signs, and that, you know, we're just going to see continued adaptation of you know, of cryonics, and you know, I hope that means like the need for, you know, expanding, you know, geographically even, right? So, you know, it's just not sensible to, you know, to bring someone, you know, from, you know, South America, you know, to Arizona, you know, to store, right? So like, you know, we're going to need like much more geographically, you know, placed, you know, facilities, and hopefully that, you know, that, I mean, you almost like franchising, you know, so to speak, you know, I mean, it's the nonprofit, right? But it's like, you know, but yeah, I mean, you've got the good policies and like procedures in place, and so like, you know, how can we expand this out, and so that the people who are doing it in Russia, the people who do it in Europe, the people who do it in Africa, you know, they're not starting from scratch, learning the mistakes that you've already made along the way, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wonderful.
Well,
Welcome, Julio, too. Yes. What's up, Sam?
Well,
Hello, everyone.
I was gonna put on my headset here, but for some reason it's not functioning correctly. So I've been super busy these last few months. I can't even remember the last time I actually attended one of these things. It's been I want to say it's been almost 6 months already. But I had a little bit of downtime this morning, so I figured I should probably make it a point to drop by and say hello. I may leave here before we're actually done at 11 or thereabouts, but I just wanted to stop by and say hi. I'm doing well, working, also watching the World Cup very closely. And there's going to be a huge game this afternoon, England versus France. So I can't wait.
Argentina.
Yeah. So yeah, it's been quite memorable. So I mean, and usually World Cups are held in the summertime. This is the first one that's ever been held in the winter, late fall, early winter in the Middle East. So it's been interesting. I'm really looking forward to the last remaining games. So that's it.
Yeah,
I hope that
absolutely.
Argentina wins, but
Yeah.
France is looking very difficult to beat. I think, unfortunately, because I would root for Argentina, like last time, France is quite likely to win.
Thank you, Julio.
Oh my God. Yeah, no, I saw you know, at least part of Argentina beat Australia and Netherlands. You know, so that was, you know, it was great. I haven't watched a whole lot, but I just, of all the of the games I think I've watched, that, you know, was probably most of it right there, getting to see Argentina win. So yeah, it's been great, you know, especially because, you know, through Ruben and Candela, like I felt like so much closer to Argentina recently, and so it's so great to see them, you know, winning out there and the World Cup. And, you know, also, I mean, just, you know, the whole scope of things, you know, it's such a juxtaposition, because like Qatar is not like, you know, the center of like, you know, humanity, right? But
No.
soccer is.
Mm-hmm.
Right. You know, and it's like, you know, it's soccer really is. And so to see soccer there, and to see all these reflections of humanity coming out all over the world, like through the World Cup, I mean, like, you know, there are bigger grossing probably things or whatnot, but like, honestly, it's like, I mean, if there's any sport that represented, you know, diversity, unity, and joyful immortality,
Yeah, yeah, it is. It is.
soccer.
Yeah.
Right.
Nothing
You know?
else comes close to it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's so it's great. It's great.
Yeah.
And
Good
still
to see an America, to hear an American saying that.
yes. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I called it soccer, right? So
Yeah, it's football.
no football, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, so you know, does anybody else you know, have anything we want to share? before we get into readings?
I do, but I don't have it here on this iPad. Could you perhaps download the picture that I sent to the Discord channel?
Yeah.
Today?
So that's good. So I'm going to go ahead. I haven't opened. Hold on.
In the meantime, I'd like to remind everyone that Wednesday next week we'll have the Terasem colloquium, December 14. That's Wednesday, and at the same time as this meeting, start at 10 a.m. I look forward to seeing all you guys, and we're going to have 6 talks about space flight, because in fact Wednesday will be the anniversary, the 50th anniversary of the last day human astronauts walked on the moon. So that it's a date full of symbolic meaning, especially now that it seems in only a few years humans could be walking on the moon again, and this time build permanent outposts on the moon. So that yes, that's going to be the theme of the Terasem colloquium, and I look forward to seeing all you guys in this date full of symbolic meaning. Just the same as this meeting, Zoom 10 a.m. in the morning, Wednesday next week. So the picture that I asked Gabriel to download, it's,
you see that? Are you seeing it now?
It's something really wonderful for me. Here is a picture that was taken a few days ago when Mars went behind the moon. And this picture by a photographer called Andrew McCarthy. He does astrophotography for a living. And in fact, I mean, this picture is for sale. You can hang it on your wall. This is really full of symbolic meaning, because yes, we are going back to the moon, and this time we are going to stay there. But what do we see rising behind the moon? That's Mars, which will be reached sometimes in the next couple of decades, I hope within my lifetime, and could be the next permanent habitat of humanity in the solar system. I really hope to see that, at least the first preliminary missions with humans around Mars. And that again, this is so full of symbolic meaning. I will buy this picture and hang it on my wall. And whenever I don't feel too happy, I know that I will feel much happier just looking at the picture. So thank you very much for watching it. It made my day when I saw it first a couple of days ago.
Cool.
That was amazing. And yeah, I guess I never really realized, I mean, that Mars appeared so large from the moon.
No. It's not from the moon. It's a picture taken from Earth,
From
with
Earth.
a telescope. And in fact, if the picture had been taken from the moon, of course, Mars would not look so big.
Okay, yeah. Because I was like, it was like, I mean, normally, I mean, you'd see it just as almost as a star, and it looks like a moon rising, but it's still, beautiful, especially because we're just experiencing the full moon now. And we had quite an amazing, what they call the beaver moon, just rising, beautiful. So thanks for sharing. And so, I wanted to share this AI written a story from the Chat GPT bot. I asked it to write a story about Terasem in the style of Hans Christian Andersen. and I hope you can see it here, but I'm gonna read it aloud, just for the posterity. Once upon a time, in a far-off land, there was a movement known as Terasem Movement Transreligion. This movement was founded on the belief that technology and spirituality could coexist and enhance one another. At the heart of the movement was a group of individuals known as the Transreligionists. They were a diverse group coming from many different backgrounds and beliefs, but they were united in their belief that technology could be used to enhance spiritual experiences and promote personal growth. The Transreligionists believed that by using technology, they could create a new form of religion that was inclusive and accessible to all. They saw technology as a tool that could help them connect with each other and with a higher power. The Transreligionists began to experiment with different technologies, incorporating them into their spiritual practices. They used virtual reality headsets to create immersive meditative experiences, and they developed algorithms that could analyze their thoughts and feelings to help them understand themselves better. As the moment grew, more and more people became interested in the idea of using technology to enhance their spiritual lives. The Transreligionists welcomed these new members with open arms, and together they continued to explore the possibilities of technology and spirituality. Despite the challenges and obstacles they face, the Transreligionist remains committed to their belief that technology and spirituality could coexist. And in time, their movement grew into a thriving community of individuals who were united in their pursuit of a better and more enlightened world. So I just like, much
AI
like
wrote that.
an AI wrote that. And actually less time than it took the AI to give me a compliment.
That was beautiful. It's
It was
very,
quite
very
good.
beautiful.
I commend that AI.
Right. And so, I just like, I'm just so blown away on so many different levels, about how beautiful this statement was, like in and of itself. Even if I wasn't who I was doing what I'm doing, with the rest of you, like just separately, I could read that and be like, oh, that was just so well put together, and but to go like deeper than that, it really has this, like, it really grasped it, like, in a meaningful way, and so, like, we all feel like we read that, right? And it's like, you read it, like I said it a lot, but like we all felt something, and that's supposed to be in the realm of like the spiritual and like, this like human like element, right? Like it wasn't just like, I wrote that or like I said it, but like it wrote it, and we felt something. It wasn't just like 1 + 1 = 2.
Yeah.
Right. And so, like that's even on another level from the Mid-Journey art that we've shared, before, it's that's beautiful in like such another way, right? And you can get like so invested in it. But the world is art and beautiful, again, but language, that again is supposed to be like something unique, right? And like proprietary to us.
So Gabriel, tell me what did you use and how can I find that?
Yeah, well, actually, honestly, Derek introduced it to me. I think it's called Chat GPT,
Chat?
Correct me if I'm, or, if someone can throw it in.
BVT?
Yeah. It's an
Thomas.
It's one of the open AI functions. So open AI also does some art generation, much like Mid-Journey, but it very distinctly has its own language, right? So the art that it produces doesn't really, look and feel the way that the Midjourney stuff does. So Midjourney, like, as I'm getting to like understand the difference, it's like, you know, it is like a language. There's like a texture to how that AI generates a certain art in this way. And yeah. And so when you do, and it really doesn't do the text function, right? So this open AI, you know, does have the text function, but also has an art function. And the art is, you know, it is a distinctly kind of different touch and feel to the art that it produces.
Well, all of we are typing we are in the chat at the same time. Well, you can find it, Michael, in the chat now.
In the chat. Wait a minute here. Let's see. All right, let me see here. If I click on chat, it's in there somewhere.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see, chat openai.com. So
Yeah, basically, I guess you need an account, or you need to sign up. Probably you can use your Google account, for example.
Yeah. We'll get you emailed a link. It's fine. But
yeah, if you could do that, you got my email address.
Absolutely. Yeah. We'll get it to you. Yeah. So I mean, I think in this stuff too, it's what I mean, one thing that's so touching about that, a couple things. So one, it created a new word in that, the trans-religionist. And so I actually, you know, I Googled and looked it up, and I have yet to find any written reference, you know, to trans-religionist prior to this. Even anything I've written, I'm always creating new words. Terasem's got all sorts of new words in it, right? I personally have never used trans-religionist, and it did it. And so, like, you know, here's this, like, you know, wow, like, you know, this whole new thing. And it actually gets to not only describe the thing, right, but like the now context, right? And like, you know, because 10 years ago, like, people weren't getting it, people weren't there. And like right now, like, we are, and it's flooding, like, you know, what AI has done to the art industry just in the last 6 months. And then like everyone's minds, like, you know, it's just totally blown up. I saw, Sam, you had something to say? Okay,
so I wanted to ask you this. How, because, for example, I think you knew who Paul Kurtz was, right? Yeah. I think one of the terms that he coined was post-religion or post-religious, okay? So how do you define the word trans-religionist?
Well, so I mean, we define trans religion as an all-inclusive experience of the like, you know, spiritual, all-inclusive, the spiritual experience, right? So, you know, not just like in the McDonald's franchisable way of experiencing spirituality, right? But like the entire like spectrum, right? That's you know, and so, you know, we understand that by each of us like expressing our spirituality, you know, differently, like it enhances the overall expression of spirituality. And by only expressing it one way, you're actually squashing, you know, a huge like part of spirituality. And so
okay, so in other words, it holds that all religious experiences have some form of validity, is what you're saying.
Right.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's
I'm not sure if I can go that far personally, because I'm, like I said, I'm very dyed-in-the-wool humanist, you know, but it's something to work with, you know. So
absolutely. And so I mean, they're in, you know, in a semantic, just looking at trans religion, you know, like the term is an all-inclusive of religion, and like as an ideology, you know, like we are inclusive. So like it's not, you don't have to disavow, you know, your any other belief system to come have a conversation with us, you know, whereas that actually isn't true in the vast majority of religious, you know, doctrine. You actually do need to disavow another belief to come and join, you know, that congregation.
It's about eliminating the competition, more or less, right? Some way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because, you know, so many of these, there's only space for one worldview, essentially. And so, and even in some of these polytheistic, you know, like understandings, like if it's not of one of their sets of gods, like it's like it doesn't compute, and it becomes, you know, contradictory or
Problematic.
or problematic. And so, you know, I mean, so that's it. But on the other hand, certainly, I mean, when you get deeper into the texture of Terasem, it is, you know, entrenched in humanism, right? And so, like, if you're doing some of these things that, like, you know, like, I mean, so on the outside, like we say, you know, we're not asking you to disavow, but if your, you know, practice is causing suffering, you know, that does certainly contradict, you know, the premise in other places, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Well, we should begin the reading, and the last section of How is Terasem on page 60, 6.6. Honor consciousness. Husk, the conscious mind's vision of a beautiful life entails goodness, order, vitality, happiness, and harmony. 6.6.2, open yourself to immortality via substrate migration, mind uploading, and downloading to regenerated or nanobiotech bodies. 6.6.3, neurocomputation leads to consciousness as validly as does biological evolution. So marital union may transcend substrate. Ondanok, the Iroquois teaching about an entity's benevolence orientation is also how to be conscious. Undertake to prove that mind files can regenerate their embedded consciousness and be ported to new bodies. Remember, in all you do, that mind is deeper than matter. Anyone want to continue in 6.7, please?
I can continue if you.
Yeah, Mike.
I am you, you am I, or we are one. Greet each other each day. Inch together, gaze each soul, touch foreheads and noses, inhale deeply and share. Ha, the life breath. Always help fellow Terasem in economics and politics before considering alternatives. Make your homes Terasem gathering places, and Terasem will safekeep them for you until you return. Yield to Terasem's higher levels, for that progresses all more rapidly toward Yugan space and Elysium fields. Organize your life around the way of Terasem, and you will attain higher levels of Terasem. A community of way of Terasem faithful with commitment to diversity, unity, and joyful immortality. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. And to 6.8.
Okay.
Ruben, thank you.
Conclude quadri-hourly commitments with CODAS. Thanks for being and joining here and Terasem consciousness forever. Top of ambrosia with longer sun. Herald Earth-5 with Earth is our mother. Aqualung culminates with the water song. Namaste, star mind, with lovely lady. Keynote chronometer with Terasem destiny. Sleep on Alum Almitral with 16 bright stars to inspire our time and place.
Okay, I can be the next one.
Yes, please, Ivan.
Okay, 6.9. Awareness of the breath of the multiverse in you via yoga connects Terasem to the multiverse. Be ready to feel the why of Terasem as well as to cognitively understand it. Relax during serenity period each day and transcendental meditation each Sabbath. Exchanging breath energy with the universe allows us to feel the immortal fabric of the multiverse. Allowing only breath and no thoughts removes the daily obstacles that obscure the purpose of Terasem. Train yourself to stretch in ways that vitalize the unique energy patterns that are the chi of I. Happy yoga is for all vitalogical life, biological as well as cybernetic, for breathing is emulatable.
Lovely. And for 6:10, I'll conclude. Life is so queer with its twists and turns, as all of us eventually learns. Lots can go wrong and you'll be hard hit, so learn to rest, but don't ever quit. Each win is failure turned inside out, the silver tint of the clouds of doubt. Adapt to your tasks, though walls seem high. Remember, success needs you to try. No hit is too hard to give up the fight. See, victory is ours, and we need your might. And that concludes another annual, recitation of the Truths of Terasem, and I find myself, that especially that last bit, should be a song. I think at one point we'll put together, some music and put that to song. But yeah, so it's a beautiful conclusion to another year and opening to to another future. So thank you all for being here to share that with me, and I would love to hear how that has affected you.
So actually we did it. And well, I like this last verse very much, to be honest. Like, I don't know, it's, I guess, pretty actual.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm I'm still just awestruck with the joy of being in this time in place. I mean, this is for better or for worse. I mean, we are in the most ultimate, I think, realization right now, of that any form of life, I think, can flourish and experience. I think that we are in this very momentous moment in the cycle of all life and all expression that very, I think, rarely, you know, I mean, I think obviously, right? Because if any more commonly than we are expressing ourselves right now, that, you know, the reality of Terasem and universal consciousness, like, you know, occurred, we would have been part of it already, right? You know, and so, like, whatever the edge of that valuation is, we are in, like, you know, the singularity already, right? You know, so I mean, it's just like, if it's like 2045, right? I mean, even if it's 2100, you know, for that sake, right? Like, aren't we already like stuck in the gravitational eddy, right? Like, you know, I mean, long before you know it, right? And you struggle. I mean, it's like a riptide, right? And it's like, oh, wait, something's yeah, like we're right in that moment. And I think, again, like, that's something that was really beautiful about that AI story, you know, is how it expressed, like, not only an understanding of what we're talking about, but like the context in the moment, you know, that it's happening in. It's beautiful.
Yes, it is good to think that we are in an especially interesting moment of history, and yes, I do get this feeling sometimes. But you know, I think every moment in history has always been and will always be special in this sense. In the sense that, well, you have all these things, the artificial intelligence and all that, and going to the moon, Mars, all interesting things happen. And maybe now we are more timely informed of everything that happens. And so we get the feeling, oh, that's something wonderful. But hasn't that always been the case? I mean, we are the universe waking up to itself. And this waking up of the universe is done of many little, tiny little things here and there that somehow all together conspire in giving rise to something beautiful. And I think that has always happened and will always happen, perhaps at an accelerating pace. But let's not think that if our life seems rich in this respect, let's not think that the life of our ancestors was poor. Things didn't happen so fast, but still every little thing was a contribution to something great. We can see it happening and unfolding now, and let's honor the memory of our ancestors by continuing giving our little contribution to the waking up of the universal mind.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And so, yeah, this is, it's amazing. I mean, you know, just with, you know, what is happening in achieving it, and the fact that, like, all of you here too are right here on the cusp of this moment, and contributing in so many amazing ways. I would say, like, Giulio particularly, you know, you know, if you know, I mean, I don't think anyone in that right now in, like, can fully grasp, but you know, what you've contributed to the conversation, you know, and the expansion of the global mind, you know, I think is incredibly, you know, significant. And it's, you know, I think, you know, just by the nature of it, far too few people have yet to, like, uncover and understand, you know, what I think you've dedicated so much to, you know, to documenting and to helping share. So, you know, I mean, I just it's kind of surreal, to call you a friend and a colleague and a member of Terasem, because, you've contributed so much to this, kind of canon of, thought. Appreciate you, certainly.
And so has you.
Yeah.
So has everyone here, but thank you very much. That was really flattering and made my day.
Thank you. Yeah, no, it's so true. I mean, I'm a little, kind of emotional just with everything, but yeah, just you certainly want to express that. So, I also wanted to share a couple other things. So for anyone who hasn't seen it yet, for everyone who has, or anyone who's just watching the recording or whatnot. So the Discord channel, the Discord server that we have, I've invited the Midjourney bot into the server. And so there's a new text channel. This is a great thing I think Midjourney has done, is made this chat function, this chatbot function, available outside of their own server, which was very busy and chaotic. And I think a lot of people were not able to kind of follow along and understand. And so being able to communicate with it outside of that environment in your own environment, I think is a great tool. And
I hadn't realized that. I'm taking a look now.
I just
how did you get the bot?
So you go first, you go to the Midjourney server and you go find the Midjourney bot. And
right. So you didn't have to pay for it. Everyone can do it.
No. I think maybe you do it in your server. In essence, the process is that you invite the bot, the Midjourney bot, to your server. And
so now I can ask the bot to compose a picture for me.
Yeah, /imagine, and then you add the prompt.
Let me just try in real time.
Yeah. While you're doing that, so I'm going to share this this sonnet that I had the AI write about Terasem. The world is changing, and so must we. Embrace the future with open hearts and minds, for in the world of Terasem, we see a vision of a new world that we find, a world where technology and humanity are intertwined and work together in harmony, where robots and humans live side by side and each contributes to the other's life. In this world, we can be free to be the best versions of ourselves that we can be, no longer bound by the limits of our flesh. We can transcend and achieve so much more. This is the world of Terasem, and it is a world that we can all strive to make real.
And the input is this title, right, in bold font?
Yes, right. Yeah, that's what I put. Yeah, so
it knows something about Terasem, actually.
So yeah, so it's very interesting. Like, I mean how it does, and I am very curious at exactly what it does know. So I looked into the programming, and it seems that the information that was input, it is a sort of a mind file, because it stops at 2021. Like, they are very specific, that says like anything like that happened after 2021 is not in the data set. Right. So they must have taken like a snapshot of some section of the internet, like at the end of 2021. And that was essentially the mind file that the OpenAI started with. Right. And everything they've been, so they also say is that that the chat, every conversation is somewhat contextual. And so you can reset the thread, but every conversation that you have, it does have some context of things you've already asked it. So it can be really useful to actually ask some like similar questions before you get to the meat, which itself is like, I think is so great, because like, how real is that? Like, we are the same way. Like, if you got to prime people to a yes, it's like, so yeah. It says that's so fascinating.
Yeah, like one interesting thing I've been doing with it is I put one of my journal entries into Chat GPT and I said, write a positive version of this, write a negative version of this, write a sarcastic version of this, write a terrifying version of this. And so that was really interesting just to see like my own linguistic bias by how I tell the stories of my own memories. And that was just a very interesting and, you know, contemplative, reflective experience.
Yeah.
I shared in the chat a little poem that Chat GPT composed about my daughter's dog went into the sea and became all wet. The poem is quite good. I was happily surprised. When I first tried Chat GPT, I thought it had the ability to look for information on the internet, and I was unpleasantly surprised that it didn't. The database is static, but this little limerick was good.
Yeah, I found that, you know, it is so surprisingly good at the syntax of language, of just being able to grab like whatever it's grabbing, bring it together, make coherent, you know, sentences or whatnot. It stops just short of that subjective level of language that makes, you know, local dialect or slang. It's, you know, I mean, it's so surprisingly gets, you know, the big concepts and is able to make a sentence. But what I find, you know, particularly in the poems, and you know, is that it misses the attempts to slightly skew for better, you know, semantic, you know, rhyming or whatnot, right? So it's too conservative, right? So like most people will bend language, you know, a little bit, right? And so like that's the one thing I think that you can I see in that is that it's so good, it's like too good, because actually a person like would have inaccuracies.
I think I'm doing something wrong with the Mid-Journey bot. Should I expect the result immediately or after a while?
So I was pretty immediate. I believe, well, one, so inviting it to the server, I forget if I went to the server and invited it there or if I went to the bot to invite, I forget how I, you know, invited it to the server. But once I did that, it appeared in the server. When you ask it to generate something, it will take like a minute, and you'll, you know, I mean, like to, you know, and it'll slowly get better. You know, you'll have a base image and that'll like, it'll render better and better.
Now I tried and it says the application did not respond. So I'm going to try again. Imagine the sea under the stars.
Yep. So I'm going to share again and take us into the Discord server here, because I've got the Midjourney bot here. And, you know, it's already already there. And so, you know, it just as an option. So here is you know, a rendering. So this is on, you know, the first Truth of Terasem, and it first starts, you have these 4 photos that come in, and, you know, so this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and you have this upscale or variation, and that's for 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So like here I clicked on upscale 4, and it chose this photo to present an upscale of. And that's what you see down here, is that upscaling of the fourth variation in the, there, which actually, I think this is actually where it started. So that was like 2 levels of, I asked the variation and then I upscaled on the variation. And you can actually continue to do that for like a bit more. And so each rendering will either get more in depth or more varied based on how you choose in that grid. 1, 2, 3, 4.
That looks cool.
Yeah, so actually, so what I'm going to do is I'll be posting truths into the Discord, the Midjourney channel in our Discord server. And actually, I encourage people to to kind of vote. So like respond and say, hey, I think we should upscale 1 or vary, 2. And we'll take that feedback, continue to develop them, and then that will go into some of our social media content that we'll be putting out in the next year, matching AI generated art along with like daily truths in there. So that's the content plan. Yeah. Well, we're coming up to the the end of the hour, so certainly want to open the mic to any final comments.
Oh, I'll just say that I hope to see all you guys on Wednesday next week for the colloquium. But in case I don't see one of you, then very, very Merry Christmas and very happy beginning of 2023. And I'll see you on January 10 next year. But let's hope to meet next week.
Giulio,
Yes.
buon Natale.
Buon Natale.
Parlo pochissimo l'italiano.
Grazie. No, parlo molto bene. Can I ask you a question in Italian?
Yeah, sure.
Il background che c'è dietro di te è un effetto zoom o è vero?
I'm sorry, can you repeat it?
Il background che c'è dietro di te è un effetto zoom o è vero? Is the background behind you real or
No, it's
zoom?
this is Zoom. This is a Zoom background. Yeah. So
I suspected as much. I couldn't believe that you were in such a beautiful part of the world.
yeah, well, I'm in Florida. I'm not far from the beach here.
Oh, well.
So, yeah. Yeah.
That looks like no, that kind of palm tree. I would expect somewhere else, not Florida.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Anyway, Florida is beautiful.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. No, I like these backgrounds. And yeah, some of them are moving. So it looks like, you're outside and the wind's blowing, or it's snowing,
What's your background?
Mine is this is the courtyard at the ashram here in Florida.
Oh, wow. So it's real.
Yeah. If they would cut the sea grapes, I could turn that way and you might be able to see the water, but
if you look at my background, just behind my head, there is my daughter when she was a baby. I have a very big picture of her.
Yes. Yeah. And I've never met her, but I have seen her in your social media. Very lovely. Yeah.
She doesn't do that much Instagram or Twitter or Facebook. I mean, she has a real life and doesn't have too much time for this thing. She does Zoom a lot, but mostly for work.
Yeah. Lovely. Okay. Well, I'm going to bring us into a final meditation before we close out. Love all of your, attendance, your participation. Thank you for being here, for, for helping Terasem, create, this future, that we are moving into. So, I think let's all just take a deep breath. Feel free to close your eyes or leave them open. Roll your neck or your shoulders. But just try to find your breathing. Inhale and exhale. With all of the contemplation of the future, it is important to find yourself rooted in the present. Terasem teaches us to plan ahead, but to stand where we are. Long time may the sun shine upon us. Only love surround us. Now may the pure light within us guide our way on. Energize our way on. Realize our way on. The earth is our mother. We must take care of her. The earth is our mother. We must take care of her. Unite, my people, be as one. Now her sacred grounds we walk upon with every step we take. Unite, my people, be as one. Unite, my people, we are one. I am you, you am I, we are one. So say we all. Yeah. So again, yeah, thank you. Go with grace. And yes, I hope to see everybody at the colloquium Wednesday. And a special again, gracious appreciation, Giulio. You have done so much to advance our understanding of ourselves and the interconnection that we share. So thank you for continuing that beautiful work. I look forward to it. Bye.
Bye.
Have a good
Bye,
day.
everybody.
See you Wednesday. Thank you.